So I'm actually very excited to see what Alad cooked up for this tournament to try to make it work. I know from my own testing, trying a lot of different ideas and just, really trying to make it work.
Absolutely. So, no, I think this is going to be a fun matchup, and I think a lot of people are really excited to see one of these Netrunners in action, in a skilled player's hand to really see what kind of things they can come out of with this.
Right.
All right, so Alad looks like he's comfortable with his hand. Lori mulled, so whatever Lori gets is what he gets. So NEH, you're thinking probably standard fast advance. That's the other nice thing is NEH, you're probably not too worried about clock, which gives you a huge advantage in this matchup.
That's also true.
Not worrying about clock just allows you to do so many things. I mean, you don't have to waste your turns, trying to set up the scoring windows. You just score when you can.
All right, so it looks like we have a resistor.
Yep.
A
Enigma?
No, it's
Is it a quandary?
It's the zero cost or the one cost quandary. It's
Quandary,
quandary.
yep.
It's quandary, and we got a Beal. So we're gonna see the remote installed. There looks like maybe an all-seeing eye in there.
I think so. Yeah, it looks like there's one in there. I think a lot of decks were packing it. I know there was some talk of some decks going one all-seeing eye and one archives memories.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to pop two of them against Val, obviously.
Yep.
So, quick dirty laundry. I'm not sure what that is.
It's a pad.
Pad campaign? Yeah, I think that's fine. You just let it sit.
So he leaves it and takes the net of 3.
Yep, I think, as a lot, you're not too worried about the econ of the runner, or of the corp. I mean, you have too many things I think you need to worry about spending your money on to get set up as quickly as you can. So Jackson getting installed, and he's got another one in hand.
There's that lovely alt art NAPD in there.
A lot of agendas here, so Jackson's going to do some work early. Yep. Agenda. Wow. So keeping. So discarding 4 agendas and the resistor. No. So 3 agendas in the resistor, looks like. I thought there was a 15 minutes in there, so he can easily discard the 15 minutes because he can just click it back anyways.
We see our first face-down install play from the LOD to fuel Endless Hunger later on.
So a lot of Apex, are they playing Mimic? Obviously Endless Hunger gets them through most of NEH's ice.
Except for Architect.
Right. Yep.
And it's interesting to note that Resistor, since the subroutine does not say exactly end the run,
it does not work with Endless Hunger.
It does not work with Endless Hunger.
Yep. So, no link is kind of rough too against Resistor. I mean, Resistor is a fantastic piece of ice against no link runners. I mean, having to spend 4 on 0 res ice.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's pretty good.
It's real good.
It's pretty good.
And like you mentioned, it's such a really difficult card for Apex here to deal with because of the wording.
Right. Well, I think the ruling is 100% fair.
No, I agree.
Because if his breaker worked any other way, it would get ported out of his faction.
Absolutely. I mean, the hard part is obviously, the 4 cost to the 4 MU is
right, but
pretty rough.
But if it wasn't worded exactly the way that it is, people would just put it in Shaper with Akamatsu mem chips and call it a day.
Right.
Or put it on Leprechaun and then it costs no memory.
It doesn't. It just costs the 1 for the Leprechaun. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So it looks like
he's praying it.
Yep.
You see a Chrysium shown off the top of R&D.
Yep. So, Chrysium, obviously, obvious tech against Maker's Eyes or Account Siphon is pretty common. You expect in the meta. I mean, obviously, NEH really fears the R&D lock, so.
Yeah. We got a shipment from San.
Yep.
Very good if he's playing the low money fast advance.
So Chrysium on HQ. Like I guess he's fearing. I mean, obviously this.
It deals with apocalypse.
Absolutely. So second Jackson. So letting him trash it. I think that's fine.
Looks like he's got a 15 minutes and an Astro in hand.
Yep, looks like that's what's sitting on. I think he's just looking for a window to score out that Astro and get things going.
Yeah.
So a lot, yep, quality time as we talked about, and you really have to import, the card draw.
One of the most insane things, in my opinion, about the NEH matchup, your scoring remote has a lot of hard end the run ice, right?
Yep.
A lot of binary gear check stuff to hopefully get that early score.
Yep.
Against somebody like Apex, the one thing that he can threaten is the Endless Hunger costs literally no money to put down.
Yep.
So at any point, he can threaten any remote with a binary piece of ice on it.
Yep.
So he's probably going to wait for the biotic to be able to just score it out of hand.
I think so. I think that's really the safest play you have.
Or wait till he can res the Sand. He's not going to try to rush an agenda.
Nope, and I don't think you really need to in this matchup because you're not worried about Claude or anything like that.
Right. Definitely not.
So,
I mean, it's important to note that, for Apex, toll booth is just 3 credits and a card
it is.
to be trashed.
It's real cheap. But, a lot right now is not really sitting on Econ right now.
No.
He is struggling, and that's the hard part. Things like quality time with their costs, it really sucks in, it really takes a big hit on, you have a bunch of cards, but selling them.
He also has already lost one of his clone ships.
Yep.
Which helps mitigate some of the weakness of Endless Hunger, because then you can say, okay, I'm going to break the end of the run on this, let the Ichi fire,
right.
I lose it, and then I can bring it back for the last piece of ice on the server, so on and so forth.
Yep, so there we go. We see Endless Hunger hitting the table.
Yeah, and all it cost him was all of his memory.
Right? But he's not too worried. What else is he playing with? So, wait.
I don't know why he just flipped Endless Hunger over.
Endless Hunger over? A little confused. Ooh, that's a good pull.
And he picks the Astro on one run and makes the credits.
Oh, he doesn't make the credits because of the Christian
Christian.
grid. Yep.
I don't know why he flipped his Endless Hunger over.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So, I mean, Lordy is just flooded right now.
He flipped his Endless Hunger over. It's still in play, but he flipped it over.
Yeah, we're really kind of confused here. So Lori obviously protecting RD. I mean, we see 3 agendas in his hand right now.
And he just picked another Astro off the top.
Yep.
So he's sitting. If this Apex variant is running legwork, he could be in real trouble. The game could close very quickly.
Absolutely. Lori's been digging, trying to get some fast advance going, but he just hasn't had any luck here. Right, so Lod looks like there we go. And it's back. All right, there we go. Yeah, I was a little confused there.
There we go.
All right. Right, so I'm trying to, because I don't really know what Apex brings outside of card draw, so we're really kind of interested to see.
Brain Cage is an interesting choice.
Sure. So I mean, you can use it as basically 2 pitches to Endless Hunger, which is really nice. So this flips over, Harbinger flips over when you trash it. So you get 2 uses out of it, which is really nice.
Yeah. The increased hand size is also going to be helpful in Apex.
I know a lot of people talked. It's an interesting splash, for pawn shop decks. You make 6 off of it essentially.
Right. Or I've seen variants like the Winning Agenda variant where there's the chop bot.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it creates a passive draw engine that can help deal with his biggest weakness, which is lack of draw.
Absolutely. So looks like pushing an agenda. I think we're pushing it 15 minutes behind that server. I don't see it in his hand anymore. Oh, he scored it already? Okay. Oh, yeah. So there's Biotic.
There's the Biotic on the top of the deck.
So Lori's going to be really happy
things
to see
are
that
starting to
next turn.
cheer up a little bit because at the start of the turn he will also go up to 7 credits.
Yep.
He's got the Astro and the Beal in hand.
So if you're allowed,
I think that's a Sand grid.
Yep, I think it is too.
Yep.
So if you're allowed, do you take a shot at HQ? Yep, looks like he does.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to be... Well, he can trash that brain cage if he really needs to, I suppose. He's got the clicks, right? Yep. So click through. Nope. See the sand. So I think this might be the turning point here for Lori.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is it keeps Alad's keeping him out of the sand and biotic res danger zone. So by doing that, if he can maintain the pressure, maybe run R&D a little bit, force the res there, then he can slow down the fast advance train.
So do you know, does Apex pack any multi-axis in their builds?
It really depends what variants. Most people are running the event-based.
Sure.
Because you don't want to invest in an R&D interface that you're going to later flip over.
Right, or having to invest in, maybe having to get extra MU if you want to play Nerve Agent or Medium.
Right. And with your console, you're maybe getting one other program on the board if you're not packing some sort of mem chip.
Right, absolutely.
So a lot of people are using that for the Mimic or the David that they're using to supplement Endless Hunger.
Sure. Yep. Nope, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm curious to see if there's E3 feedback implants in this variant.
It makes sense.
So we see an infiltration blade. It looks like he's
just making money. Infiltration is a card I haven't seen in a long time.
I'm trying to see, what is that top card in Alad's hand? I couldn't see if that was a Maker's Eye or one of Apex's signature events.
Alad is really struggling to decide, where he wants to run. So it looks like he's running R&D. Not sure what that ice was. Definitely looked like an ice.
Right, so he's back up to 6, so next turn he could be in the biotic range.
Well, he could do it now because he has the Shimmer from Sansan.
That's true. Yep, there it is.
So this biotic, Shimmer from Sansan, and advance the Astro. Yep. So Astro scored, big deal. Plus he has the Sand on the table, so once he gets enough money, I think he had 2 Beals in hand, maybe one.
He has 1 Beal.
Okay.
2 Beals.
Oh, 2 Beals. So
you were right.
So he's got the win in hand.
So he could potentially close pretty in the next few turns.
Yep. He just needs to make a bunch of money, and that's really it. Score 1 off of the Sand, and then score the other one off the Astro. That's really all he needs to do. So it's really kind of a time game here for Alad.
I mean, NEH is doing what NEH does.
Right, absolutely. Without Clot to slow them down, their speed is it's unmatched. So yep, looks like clicking for a lot of credits. And, it's really all you can do at this point. So do you push out the bail right away, or do you try to click up to the Sansan?
Well, I think what he's got to basically decide is whether or not he thinks Alad is running multi-axis R&D.
Right.
Because if you rush out the BO, you're that much closer to winning, but then you don't have any fast advance options available for you for closing the next turn.
Sure.
So then R&D could be open for a potentially very threatening multi-access.
Sure, absolutely. Leaving R&D open is always a dangerous prospect. And the volatility of R&D means, sometimes you just get lucky and you lose 3, unlucky and you lose 3 turns right in a row.
Oh, absolutely. I was playing about a year and a half ago. I was playing HB Glacier, and I had somebody top deck 3 5-3s off the top of my deck. I mean, it happens. It's unlikely, but it does happen.
There are always terrible ways to lose the game. You're in a commanding position, and it's just,
So we see the QT go down. Alad just really looking for options, trying to find that pressure that he needs to help him close the game, or really get back into
it. Well, the hard part about any NBN deck is once that Astro is scored, you worry about anything that's drawn being another Astro or another agenda.
Right. If he can manage to pick the other Astro out of R&D, he has a little bit more breathing room. Because if Lori can draw that, he can close in 2 turns.
The nice thing is, Lori's only sitting on 3 credits, so, things you're worried about is Eli, really about it. Another quantity isn't really going to scare you too much. So
he put down, looks like Hunting Grounds.
Yep.
He's going to use it immediately to draw the top 3 cards of his deck, play them face down.
Yep.
So just building
feeding
up
the hunger.
some fuel.
Feeding the hunger. Apex hungry. All right, so Prey. Looks like we're gonna kill some things.
So he's gonna break.
Yep.
He break the Eli with the double flip.
Yep.
Because he does it,
Yep.
flips it, and then does it again.
Yep. That trashes. Yep.
Yeah. That does help him tremendously. He's gonna break the Quandary with the other one.
Yep. Prey, really good card. Yeah, it doesn't work on both. It's just the first.
That would be a way better card.
that would be incredible.
All right, let's see if he can pick a deal.
Nope.
He can't do it.
He's an architect, and that's not a card he really wants to see either.
No.
That's the one card he really
Especially
struggles
since
with.
that's highly likely to go on HQ.
Absolutely. So Jackson coming out. See,
Yeah, he's just trying to empty his hand out now that HQ's pretty vulnerable.
yep. Well, I think it's okay holding on to, one agenda. You need an agenda at some point to score out. So 1 of 5 is still, it's still fine for you to sit on. But obviously a lot isn't really pressuring R&D, so not too worried. And depending on what's out there. I mean, if you have an architect on R&D, you're even less concerned about them consistently running it. So Quandary out of the way, yep. So it looks like he's keeping some econ, keeping a Sand, which I think is a good play. And obviously keeping that architect. So just running R&D, running archives. It's like the Jackson is getting pitched.
So it looks like Alad really needs to start hunting and R&D to start looking for agendas. It's fair to say it's fairly nutrient rich at this point.
I mean, obviously, you've trashed one Eli, so you don't have to worry about potentially being 2. I mean, 2 on R&D would be really dangerous. That'd be incredibly taxing for a lot. I mean, 2 Eli's on any server for most owners is taxing, but the nature of Endless Hunger makes it even worse. So there we go. So there's the Faust. He doesn't have the MU.
He doesn't have the MU for that.
So, he's using the Faust. So that's okay, I guess, at this point. All right.
So.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So, as nice as Endless Hunger is, it's a little slow because you having to install something, and a lot of, Eli being 2 subroutines is always pretty rough.
What is Endless Hunger Splash for?
I don't know. I want to say 3, but, most decks having to spend 4 MU, it's too intensive.
I'm gonna actually look it up real quick because if you want to talk about some jank, we could talk about you have to trash an installed card.
Yep.
Oh, it's 2.
It's 2. Oh, it's 2 MU?
It's 2 influence.
Or 2 influence? Sure.
Maybe in a Haley deck where you install a lot of cheap cards.
Yep. And there's the game.
There's
There's
the
it.
game.
Yep.
Yep.
Astro into Bale.
Yep.
Not much you
2
can do.
turns, like we said, if you can close it, you can end up just wiping out the game.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, I think this is just a really tough matchup for Apex.